morning, students. Today we will start chapter number 2. The name of chapter 2 is Force and Newton's Law of Motion, because they are given by Newton. Okay. Now, for example, you are pushing something, you are pulling something, you are stretching something, you are squeezing something, you are hitting something, etc. These are the examples of force. The simple definition of force is a push or pull on an object is called force. Once again, push or pull is called force. Okay, the effects of force. Now, what are the effects of force? First of all, a force cannot be seen, okay, but can be experienced. Once again, force cannot be seen but can be experienced. How? By the some effects. The effect first is a force can move a stationary, means rest, object. Once again, a force can move a stationary object. For example, by kicking a ball moves. Okay. Effect number 2 is a force can stop a moving object. The example of this is a car can be stopped by applying brakes. Okay. The effect third is a force can change the speed of a moving object. Example of this is when we push a bicycle, the speed of cycle increases. Okay. You can give the example when we pull a bicycle, the speed of cycle decreases. Okay. Now, the fourth effect is a force can change the direction of a moving object. Okay. How? When a batsman, many times you can see this, when a batsman hit the ball, the direction of ball changes. Okay. Now, the fifth effect is a force can change the shape and size of an object. Okay. The example of this is on stretching a spring. When a spring is stretched or when a rubber band is stretched, its length increases. Okay. You can give the example on compressing a spring, its length decreases. Okay. So these are 5 effects of force. Okay. Now come to the balanced force. What is balanced force? The balanced force, when a large number of forces are acting on an object, then if the resultant of all forces is 0. Once again, if the resultant of all forces acting on an object is 0, the forces are called balanced forces. Okay. For example, in a game tug of war, the force applied by both the teams are equal and opposite. Okay. So the resultant is 0. One more example is a woman carrying a bag of vegetables in her hand. Then the weight means force of vegetables acting downward and the force acting by woman is upward. So the resultant is 0. Okay. Some important points regarding balanced forces are balanced forces cannot produce motion. They cannot produce motion. Balanced force cannot stop a moving object. Balanced force cannot change the speed and direction of moving object. Okay, but balanced force can change. Remember this. Balanced forces can change the shape and size of an object. Okay, for example, a balloon is pressed from both sides. Okay, then its size changes. Okay, now come to unbalanced force. Okay, what is unbalanced force? Unbalanced forces. Okay, if the resultant of all the forces, similarly as in balanced force, if the resultant of all forces acting on an object is not zero, in this case the resultant of all forces is not zero, the forces are called unbalanced forces. Okay, an unbalanced force produces acceleration. Only unbalanced force produce acceleration. Okay, if we are talking about any force, then we are talking about unbalanced force. Okay, in universe most of forces are example of unbalanced force. Okay, now the concept of inertia. What is the concept of inertia? चलो आपको आपके घर से बाहर निकाला जाता है तो क्या आप आसानी से निकलेंगे? नहीं. तो ये इनएबिलिटी क्या हुई? कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इनर्सिया. ओके, कैसे? द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ इनर्सिया इज inability of an object to change its state of rest or of uniform motion by itself is known as inertia. Means an object cannot change the state of rest. An object cannot change the state of uniform motion by itself. Okay, this is known as inertia. On the basis of this, inertia is of three types. How many types? Three types. First is inertia of rest. Second is inertia of motion. Okay, and third one is inertia of direction. Okay, so the first is inertia of rest. What is inertia of rest? This is dealing with rest. So inability of a body or an object to change its state of rest by itself. Once again, inability to change its state of rest by itself is known as inertia of rest. For example, two examples are given. First example is when a bus suddenly starts, then you can feel that passengers fall backward due to the inertia of rest. Because when the bus suddenly starts, the lower part of body comes in motion but upper part at rest. So the passengers fall backward. Okay. One other example, when we dust a carpet. When we dust a carpet, the dust comes out. How? When we dust a carpet, the carpet moves forward, but the dust particles remain at rest. So they come out. Okay? There are many examples. Okay?